Think your cruise fare covers everything? We've completed 50 plus cruises and counting. In the next few minutes, we'll show exactly what's not included: gratuities, Wi Fi, room service fees, private island add on, sail with no surprises. Let's dive in.
Hey, I'm Mark.
I'm Monica.
So we're going to break it down by all of the major cruise line, what you get, but more importantly, what's not included in a cruise. This is really important, especially if you haven't taken many cruises before. Most cruises are marketed as nearly or all-inclusive, and that's true to a point. You certainly don't have to spend much on extras when you cruise. Don't feel that you have to, but it surprises people a lot of times, the big bills they get when they finally check out of their cruise and they slide that little invoice under your door the night before they kick you off the ship so rudely. And there's a lot of sometimes hidden costs that are put in there. And look, cruise lines are a business. They become really good at charging you for extras and things that you may not think about when you book that really great deal on a cruise. So realize that typically most cruises are going to cover all your basics, right? Your stateroom, your housekeeping, your main dining rooms, your main buffet. A lot of times some basics like water, tea, maybe some regular coffees, basic juices at breakfast. Certainly your entertainment, theater shows, daily activity schedule, pool access, gym, kids clubs will be covered. And like I said, if you look at all those inclusions, cruising is a phenomenal deal and it still continues to be. But there are a lot of things that are not covered. And you see that on the right-hand side. A lot of times people don't realize gratuities add up. It could be another $40 a day per cabin. That adds up over a 7-day or 14-day cruise, let alone if you start talking about beverage packages, shore excursions, spa, or anything else. So let's break this down for you and give you some strategies on how you can save some money. If you're going for some of the extras, it's about $80 to $100 per day, per person extra, plus shore excursions. Okay, and that tends to be gratuities, Wi-Fi, maybe some specialty dining, some drinks. I understand that, but there's ways to really lower this. And we've talked about this in other videos. We'll put some links down below. Certainly being loyal to certain cruise lines, you get all kinds of great perks. There's discounted packages available. Once you book your cruise, you can buy these packages at a discount. There's a lot of options for shore excursions. We cover a lot of that in our channel. We've got great strategies to save you money. But let's cover some of the major cruise lines. I'm going to start with Celebrity Cruise Lines. This is going to be pretty common across most of the cruise lines. We've already talked about the inclusions, like your dining, your entertainment. It's great. There's a lot of inclusions, but understand you're not going to have any access to a beverage package. That includes things like sodas. It includes your alcoholic beverages. You're not going to have any Wi-Fi. You do need to pay extra for those. Now, you can go for an all-in package with Celebrity. Many times we book people into this, and sometimes we can get those for very little extra, and that gives you a classic beverage package, Wi-Fi, even refundable deposits. However, if you have to pay for it, it can be expensive. It can add $80 to $100, if not more, per day per person. So just realize those are going to be some extras as well. Now, if you book yourself into a suite, the nice thing on Celebrity is the suites come with a lot. Typically premium drink package, they come with premium Wi-Fi. There's also Aqua Class, which has its own special restaurant. So there are ways to get more inclusions. Now, what's not included on Celebrity, you got to count on your daily gratuities, any specialty dining. You're going to pay extra for specialty dining, premium beverages across the board. If you want those nice fancy coffees, those teas, those bottled waters, sodas, alcoholic beverages, you either need to be on a package or pay for them a la carte. And as you'd expect, you're not going to have any excursions or spa. So take a look at this and realize that if you're going to use any of these, and you're definitely going to spend on daily gratuities, if nothing else, you'll need to pay extra for Wi-Fi as well. If you're loyal, sometimes you'll get some perks included. A couple of quick tips. If you're a non-drinker, do the math. You may be able to buy the Wi-Fi on its own. Look for a money-saving email from Celebrity after you book. You'll get a lot of emails and a lot of deals for them. You may just buy a few drinks here and there a la carte. It's not that expensive, and you can do it that way. But if you're somebody who likes to drink on a regular basis, sometimes even sodas and non-alcoholic beverages, a lot of coffees, you may want to still opt into one of the beverage packages. So do the math, but really sometimes a la carte can be the best way to go as well.
Now let's talk about Princess Cruises. They offer a main dining, buffet, lots of casual options, and entertainment. They do have packages like Princess Plus and Princess Premier that will enable you to get upgraded beverage packages, Wi-Fi, and other things. So expect to pay extra your drinks, specialty coffees, alcohol, laundry services, and other experiences like shore excursions and spa and fitness classes.
Your specialty dining, gratuities, those are things you're going to have to pay extra for. Pretty common on most what we call contemporary cruise lines. There are some great packages. Monica mentioned Princess Plus. We always recommend that to people who book On Princess, it's $65 per person per day. On their newer ships, it's $70, but it includes a lot. It's going to cover your gratuities and your Wi-Fi right there alone. You've basically paid for 2/3 of that, but then you get a full beverage package. You get some specialty dining credits and a few extra things. They've got their premier package as well. That's more per person per day, but it adds even more, like full specialty dining and a few other really nice perks, upgrades on the Wi-Fi.
Excursion credits.
If you want to go to all inclusion, then you don't have to worry about those expenses. We sailed on Princess a few months ago, and it was great to have Princess Plus because we didn't have to think about most of these things. It was already just paid for and included. Now, Holland America is going to be very similar to Princess. You're going to have your basic inclusions, and also they have a package as well. Let's talk about what's not included on Holland: your beverages, your specialty dining, your gratuities. Obviously, short excursions are not included, but they also have it all in package. It roughly is the same price as Princess, about $65 per person per day. These days, they've been offering it with gratuities, Wi-Fi, a beverage package, and you even get some credit for short excursion and some specialty dining credits as well. Again, we highly recommend it because now you know the cost in advance. You don't have to worry about it when you're on the ship. A lot of the nickel and diming goes away.
Royal Caribbean is a little bit different. They have a lot of activities that are included. They've got dining, very good entertainment, which is really about the best at sea. High quality production shows, ice skating, music, pools, it's all included. Activities like rock climbing, sometimes you have mini golf and basketball and ice skating and things like that. What's unusual about Royal is they don't have all-inclusive packages. Everything is pretty a la carte. So you will pay extra for things like gratuities, specialty dining, beverage packages, room service, and premium experiences like the arcade games, VOOM internet, the iFly skydiving.
Yeah, they do a pretty good job of offering a lot of extras if you go to their private island. The great thing is you don't have to pay a nickel more. It's very enticing when you see some of the private beach clubs and the amazing water park that they can definitely extract more money from you. So what we tell you on Royal Caribbean, since you don't have one of these all-in packages, instead just look for their sales. As soon as you book, they're going to send you a lot of promotions with big discounts on virtually everything. I would highly suggest you book in advance, prepay those things, get the discounts of what you want, whether it's internet or the water park or whatever else it might be, your specialty dining. Buy a specialty dining package. You can get significant discounts if you buy those in advance. If they ever lower the price a month later, you can cancel the one you bought. They'll refund you and then buy at the new price. So just go ahead and book that. Norwegian Cruise Lines, similar across the board, very similar inclusions that you see. They also have great shows, great entertainment, a lot of choices in dining. By the way, it's not just the dining room and just the buffet. Most of these cruise lines will also have other dining venues that are included, some fast casual. So just realize it's not going to be limited to one choice for the whole cruise. Not included, of course, gratuities, room service, your specialty dining, your excursions, your Wi-Fi. But they do have a nice program called More at Sea. It's not that much to add it on. Again, we always highly recommend people add it on for NCL because this can get you to the point where you've got your beverage package, Wi-Fi, you get a little bit of a short excursion credit, you get some specialty dining. The only thing you won't have there is your gratuities. You're still going to have to pay extra for the gratuities, and you should because the crew works so hard. Definitely look at their More at Sea. It's probably one of the more affordable all-in or mostly all-inclusive packages you can get, and is virtually always worth the spend. Even if you don't drink a lot or do a lot of alcoholic beverages, it's still typically worth the extra money. Now, Virgin Voyages threw a wrench into everything because they changed their program completely when we're recording this. There's a lot of changes. It used to have a lot of inclusions. It still does, but now they've kind of broke it down by like 3 different types of fares. I almost would ignore the base fare and say I would mostly tell you to focus on the essential fare. That's typically what we had in the past from Virgin. It includes quite a bit, all your specialty dining, Wi-Fi. What it doesn't include anymore is the gratuities. Now, what they're saying is they netted out the gratuities, so the fares are a little bit lower. And we have seen that to some degree. And then you just need to know, they want to show, hey, this amount is truly going to the crew. The essential package is very much the same as what Virgin always had, but you still have a lot of inclusions. So just realize if you do essential, you've got that Wi-Fi, you've got that specialty dining. You really only have to add your gratuity on top of that. There's also a premium package. If you want to bump up the speed on your Wi-Fi, you might want to consider doing that. Plus on the premium, they include a bar tab, $15 per person per day. You can get a drink or a non-alcoholic beverage. What most people do on Virgin is look at the things that aren't included, like we mentioned with the gratuities. You can prepay them and get a discount. We recommend that. Use your bar tab for the higher end drinks. You can also buy a bar tab in advance. Maybe your travel advisor like us will give you some sailor loot to spend on some of those extras as well.
Yeah, whenever you buy bar tab in advance on Virgin, they will kick in a little extra. So that's a really nice feature.
Prepay your gratuities. Go with the essential package. If you really want to do the streaming and have a little bit of bar tab, then sure, it might be worth it to look at the premium, but look at the price difference. It may or may not be worth it to you. Have to go ahead and bump that up. Now, if you work with us, we can help you grab that dream cruise and understand all these different packages. We can absolutely get you into the right cruise. Plus, we can add onboard perks, amenities, maybe an upgrade. There's a QR code on the screen. There's also a link you can go to, and you will hear back from us. We'll help you book and reserve the perfect cruise for you. All right, let's go on to some of the more premium lines. And you're going to see a lot more inclusions on these lines, and there should be, because they're going to be more expensive. But we always say to people, sometimes look at all the inclusions. It might surprise you. There may be not as much more as you think if you start adding in everything else to some of the other contemporary lines. Viking Ocean includes a lot of nice things. They include 1 excursion per port, beer and wine at meals, Wi-Fi included, 24-hour room service. They have nice gym access, a thermal suite. It's adults only. So there is a lot of inclusions. What we need to point out on Viking Ocean, what's not included. If you want premium spirits and cocktails, you can buy a package for that, but you will pay extra for that. If you want additional excursions beyond the included excursions, you will pay extra for that. You will pay extra for gratuities, especially if you book in the US. I know some other countries, some of you listening, sometimes Viking overseas will include gratuities, but if you're booking from US, it is going to be extra. If you're somebody who really likes to drink, enjoy a really nice cocktail, they do have a silver spirits package. It might be worthwhile. It's not that expensive overall. If you're somebody who likes to have beer and wine outside of meals, you want some cocktails, that might be something to seriously consider. But the good news with Viking is there's a lot of inclusions for the price.
Oceania recently overhauled their What's Included package with their Your World package, which never in the past included gratuities. As of January this year, it does now include gratuities. You also get unlimited Wi-Fi, a free laundrette for self-service laundry, specialty dining, and beverages.
Those beverages will be during meal service. So you'll get beer and wine at lunch and dinner, but they didn't used to have that as well. So that's something that you can use, and a choice you can make. You can choose, as you can see at the bottom of the slide, either taking wine and beer with lunch and dinner, or you can take a short excursion credit, which that's nice because some people are like, you know what, I don't drink with my meal. It's nice that they give you a little bit of a choice to go ahead and take a short excursion credit as well. Now, what's not included? If you happen to not pick beer and wine and took the short excursion credit, as you can imagine, you'll need to pay for your beer and wine, or vice versa. Also, premium spirits, like if you go to the bar, they a lot of times have happy hour deals. We did that on our Oceania sailings, and we would take advantage of the happy hour and really nice discounts on some great drinks, but you will pay extra for that. Extra tours or more, you'll get potentially a short excursion credit, but it's typically not enough to cover, all of your different excursions. You may want to look at booking some of those on your own. We'll put a link in the video description down below how you can do that. But a lot of included. Really, there's not a lot more that you need to cover. So again, you will pay more for a lot of these cruise lines. The argument also is you're not going to get a big bill at the end, probably very little of a bill overall. Pro tips, take advantage of the specialty dining that's included. Their cuisine is typically excellent, especially on their newer ships. And then just decide, do I want short excursion credit or do I want beverages with my meal? Just depends upon if you're a drinker or not. So it's nice to have those choices. Another really great newer cruise line is Explora Journeys. They've got some beautiful ships. They're virtually going to be all inclusive. I mean, they cover Wi-Fi across multiple devices, high speed, gratuities, all of their dining venues, unlimited beverages. There really isn't a lot that's not included on Explora. If you want a top shelf of wines and vintage spirits, then yeah, you're going to pay a little extra for that. But honestly, for the most part, I'd say this is pretty darn close to all included when it comes to Explora. So really, just if you're looking into Explora and you're pricing it out, yeah, it might cost a little bit more, but you're really not going to have much more of any expenses at the end of the week or two on Explora. So definitely highly recommend if you're looking for more of the luxury experience for really good value overall compared to some other lines. Explora is one that you may want to consider.
And Explora is a ship that's all suites. They don't have any other type of staterooms.
Here's another cruise line owned by Royal Caribbean, Royal, Celebrity, Silversea, all together in one group. So if you got perks with the other ones, you get perks on Silversea, but...
Exactly. So all suite accommodation. So every stateroom is a suite, just like Explora. They include their premium beverages, gratuities, Wi-Fi. What is not included on Silversea? So premium extras include overland packages that you might add, multi-day pre or post tours, private shore excursions, ultra premium wines, and things like that.
A couple just pro tips. Again, you can see Silversea is going to really be mostly all inclusive. There's even fares that we have that we book people on that come with a short excursion credit. It's very common to get onboard credit as well with Silversea to cover more of those short excursions. So you're going to be pretty darn close to not really having much other need to spend additional money on Silversea. Let's move on to Azamara. It's a cruise line that we got off of just recently. There's a lot of inclusions. It's not quite as all-inclusive as Explora and Silversea, but it's also not nearly as expensive. Nice things that are included: gratuities, beverages with meals, as well as in the bars. Now, they're very standard, they're very basic, so they're not going to be the higher end alcohol. So if you don't have anything that's adding a more premium beverage package, yes, some basic beer, basic wine, basic spirits are covered. They have special events like the Azamara evening, some self-service laundry on board. They do a nice job of offering shuttles into most towns for free, and then room service as well. Things you will pay extra for is definitely premium beverages. Sometimes even when we're on the premium beverage package, we're still surprised what's not included. They charge you the full amount. So it's an okay program overall. But the nice thing is if you want to upgrade to their ultimate package on board, it's not that much. So if you never want to think about the beverage, if you already have one of the beverage packages, to go up to the next level, I would just go ahead and take the package. Wi-Fi is typically not included. Your short excursion is definitely not included. And then the usual spa and things like that are not included. You can get some packages with Azamara, by the way. We would recommend that. Look at their essentials package. They usually have like 4 or 5 different ones. They tend to include things like Wi-Fi, things like short excursion credit, maybe some specialty dining credit. They're definitely worth looking at. When I've priced them out, it's pretty good value overall. You're definitely getting more than what you pay, and you can pay that in advance. They'll even promote it to you on the ship like they did our last sailing. They were offering to us on the ship as well. So that's what I would suggest in Azamara to save a little bit of money and make it closer to all-inclusive. These are really the big charges that people just don't account for. The biggest ones I'm going to say is gratuities. Wi-Fi is not inexpensive on cruise lines. It's gotten way better. We had amazing Wi-Fi on our last Azamara, and recent cruises, even on Princess and Royal and Celebrity, have all been quite good. But it comes with a fee. Loyalty programs, sometimes you can get free or discounted Wi-Fi. We got 75% off our Wi-Fi on Azamara due to our loyalty program. On Royal Caribbean, we get 4 to 5 drinks per day. If you stay loyal, you can start to offset some of these charges. Shore excursions are very expensive. So really think twice before you book those. Make sure you really love what the cruise line's offering you, because you're probably paying extra for it. So just kind of, understand that overall. And then, yeah, definitely think about all-in packages on most of your bookings. It's pretty common to add these.
I would say
A rule of thumb, like I mentioned, you're going to have extra expenses on your cruise above and beyond. So make sure you budget for that. Compare the luxury lines. It may not be as expensive as you think when you do that comparison. Make sure you budget right in advance. You got that base fare. By the way, you can absolutely cruise for that inclusion and just pay your gratuities, and you can be fine. You can have an amazing cruise that you don't have to take Wi-Fi or specialty dining or short excursions. Cruises can be phenomenally fun and great, and a great experience without the extras, but people sometimes get carried away with them. A quick recap by line: if you want to be mostly inclusive, you can see Explora, Silversea, Azamara, Oceania. If you want to be pretty close, Viking, it almost has everything, like we mentioned, plus some short excursion, which is nice. So it's really should be in that category. The other ones, where packages matter: Princess, Holland, Celebrity, NCL. Virgin sort of sits in between somewhere. And then Royal is definitely the master at a la carte. Like we mentioned, we can help you compare any of these. We're going to put some links in the description down below to help you save on a lot of these categories that we shared with you. Check out some of our latest videos on the screen here. In the comments down below, tell us what is the one inclusion you can't live without, whether you pay extra for it, whether it's included. It's the one thing you're like, I got to have this. Overall, we work when we're sailing, so we would probably say Wi-Fi. You may have a different answer. Put that down below. And with that,
we'll see you out there.
see you out there.